Hi, Year 11, it's Miss Northwood. As explained in a letter to your parents, I have created some really short videos on different revision tips and methods for you. Now, I know a lot of you have your own techniques, tips and methods that you use anyway, but I know that some of you were struggling. So I wanted to just create some short videos that you could use as a reference that will hopefully help to explain how to use them effectively. And you can use these in all subjects. And that's what I wanted to do, because I know some of you will use different methods for different subjects, which is fine, and that's great, but these could apply to each and every subject that all of you do. So guys, the first one is on flashcards, and obviously we've covered this before in the February half term, but I will run a face-to-face session as well on the 19th of April, which is the first day back after Easter. So if you want to come along to the main hall that morning, I'll go through this in more detail and we can do some working examples together as well. Right, so we obviously know what a flashcard is. We know where we can get them, how we can make them. They're a really cheap and easy resource to get hold of. The pound shops, anywhere like that you can get them. You can even use card and cut it up. We have got a limited supply in school, okay, but you can obviously ask those through your subjects as well. Now, the method for your flashcard is to use both sides of the card. Yeah, so both sides of the index card. On the front, you write a key term or a question. So if it's a key term, you would have a definition on the back. Or if it's a question, obviously you would have the answer on the back. Now, the key is that you keep the information concise and you make it nice and short. Yeah, so you don't want a massive paragraph as your answer. You want just really a couple of bullet points, or a bullet point if it's a definition, nice and concise, quick information for you to recall. So obviously the aim of it is that you read the question on the front and then you flip it over once you've answered the question either verbally or writing it down, and you can then check the correct answer against it. So powerful flashcards, it says up there at the top, is based on retrieval. Yeah, so based on retrieval. Miss Howard's done a lot of work with you about retrieval practice. Obviously, it's helping you to remember. That's what it's for. And it helps you to repeat the information. So use these constantly go through these at least 3 times. In one session, that means at least 3 times. Now, on the left-hand side there, it's got a way to use flashcards to revise. Now, it's saying here to buy a little box and separate it into 5 areas. You put all of your flashcards in the first area. Obviously, they're all filled out. You've got your questions and answers on the back. Test yourself. Okay, so if it's a definition, you test yourself. If you get it right, you put it in slot number 2, that's labelled number 2. If you get it wrong, you put it back in the back of slot number 1. You go through all of the 1s until they get into number 2. You go through all of the 2s until they get into number 3. Anytime you get an answer wrong, you put it back in that numbered box. So if, for example, you're on section number 4, and you've got 4 cards and you're only getting 3 of them right, the 3 of them would go into section number 5 and the 1 of them would stay in section number 4 until you are confident, until you've got that right. Eventually, obviously, they all end up in the last section. Now, what I would advise for this is that you either colour code your subjects or you have a different box per subject. Okay, because you don't want to overload yourself with information. So a different box per subject, or you colour code. And if you colour coded in all of your maths key terms, for example, on a blue card, you would only then concentrate on those blue cards in that session. Top tips for you: keep the information concise and minimal, as I said, so not overloaded with information and wording. Build the flashcards in plenty of time before your exams. Now, that's key. You don't want to be sitting there in May writing your flashcards, creating those cards. You want to have them ready to go. If they're not ready to go already, that's what you want to be doing over Easter, and you want to use them as a daily tool. Yeah, a daily tool. Get into that habit. If it's on the way to school, on the way home from school, last thing before bed, while you're having your breakfast, whatever it may be. Remember to only revise the information you need reminding of. Yeah, so when we look at our RAG rating, only focus on those orange and reds for your flashcards. You know the greens. Yeah, you're confident with those green areas. You're wasting time if you keep going over stuff you already know. Okay, do the ones that you're not as confident with. That's really important. Okay, guys, as I say, first session, 19th of April. Give this a go. It's an easy task to do. It's a bit repetitive, but it is a really, really great resource to use. If you need any help, just let us know.